The nation's newest Supreme Court justice starts work today. Neil Gorsuch takes his place in the conference room, returning the High Court to full strength after 9 justices. On Wall Street, stocks have been mostly flat since the opening bell. I'm Michael Toscano.
Don't do what I did and run out. If it's working, don't quit. Why would you stop? Why undo all the good that's been accomplished?
You've got to feed them right for life.
Dynamite is nutrition.
If I ever took Roy off Dynamite...
No.
When I get to about 3/4,
When I get down to the bottom of my box of Dynamite, oh no, I've got a couple more to do. It's time to place my order. Dynamite.com. DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynamite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dynamite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynamite. Dynamite for life.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
This community calendar is brought to you by First Financial Bank, your true community bank. Visit one of their 6 convenient locations in Union County or on the web at ffb1.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. The LC and Hazel Rock Scholarship Foundation will have a golf tournament Friday morning at 9 a.m. at the Lions Club, and later that evening we'll have a 3-point shootout at Wildcat Arena at 6. For more details, call 870-315-0001. Attention Razorback fans! Tune into every pitch of every game on the Talk 1071 AM 1400. Baseball is brought to you by Teens Heating and Air Conditioning, Taylor Tire and Auto Service, Henry Food and Farm Supply, Automotive Service Repair, United Insurance, Lane Mechanical, Union Kennel and Farm Supply, First Financial Bank, Laney's Collision Center, Butler In and Out Automotive, Shelter Mutual Insurance, and Simmons First Bank.
So, you've had a car accident and you're wondering where you can take your car and have it repaired. Well, the answer is Ballard's Body Shop in El Dorado. Ballard's Body Shop is a quality, driven body shop that will restore your car to factory condition. And they'll work with all insurance companies. Randy Ballard, the owner of Ballard's Body Shop, will warranty his work for as long as you've owned the car. Give him a call, 870-639-1734. That's Ballard's Auto Body Shop, a quality-driven, family-owned body shop at 1706 Junction City Road in El Dorado.
The following message is about Medicaid and CHIP, free or low-cost health coverage for kids and teens. Enrollment is open year-round.
Hey, voice lady, give me the mic.
Okay.
Hey, DJ, let's switch up the music. That's better. So listen up, moms and dads out there. There are these programs called Medicaid and CHIP. Offer free or low-cost health coverage for kids. Things like doctor and dentist visits, prescriptions, and shots are covered. All the stuff that keeps kids like me healthy and in charge.
So, as you can tell, a covered kid is a confident kid, and it means confident parents too. To learn more about affordable health coverage for your family, visit healthcare.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669.
Yep, you could do something big for your family today because enrollment is open year-round.
This has been a message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And the people.
Hi, this is Adam Rodriguez. Did you know that spend a few minutes on just the news of the day. I know you don't know him, but ruthless KGB, I would describe him as ruthless KGB agent and now oligarch Vladimir Putin. Your thoughts about him?
Well, as you said, I don't know him, I don't know about him, but you can take, you can apply some logic here. And clearly, the KGB in my time was the organization in the entire country that were able to pull the best. The very best, particularly folks who were in foreign intelligence. I mean, these were plum jobs. So they pulled the best and brightest from the universities. In those days, you could not apply for the KGB. They would recruit you. The CIA, you can actually, FBI, you can apply. So what you had when the Soviet Union started falling apart, people were scrambling to figure out what to do next, right? And so when the goodies were distributed, when this became sort of, the wealth of the state was distributed, who was closest to where the decisions were made? KGB. So now, some of them became oligarchs and
Some of them became dead.
some of them became dead. But there was a good reason why they became dead, because they were fighting somebody who had more power. So now, if you rise to the top with that kind of competition, you have to be really good at this. And this is as hardcore politics as you can think about. And so one needs to take Mr. Putin really, really seriously. To think of him like, because he does some of these antics of riding on a horse with no shirt on.
Yeah.
There's a good reason for all of that. He gives the Russian populace very, very well.
Are you surprised that so many Americans have switched sides on Putin, where the left has always loved, Russia and Moscow and everything else? Now the left is against Putin, and many on the right are saying, Putin's our friend, Russia's our friend.
Well, I think both sides are wrong here. And I think when we're using what's happening here with this whole idea that Putin and Trump and cahoots to influence the election, I think that's a canard, and it is not helping. What we have here now, we're making policy subject to politics. It's very dangerous. We're throwing bombs at each other, losing focus on who is the adversary. I mean, as much as we might disagree with the Democrats, but they're not enemy. They're internal adversaries. So this whole discussion, this back and forth, is not helping. And there are certain media that can't let go. Even though now it's pretty clear that Trump and Putin are not best friends, but they won't let go. Even this morning I saw it on CNN. They just keep on digging. There's nothing there.
But it's not, what we have found, I think, isn't unusual, that big, important people were approached, not with their knowledge, were approached by KGB agents. That's what you did. That's what people like you did.
Oh, sure.
That doesn't say anything about the American. It says, of course they're targeting you.
Of course, and if you're a business person and you do business with a major corporation, you are doing business with somebody who is there because Mr. Putin allows them to be there.
Yeah.
And are they infiltrated by the secret intelligence services? Of course they are. I mean, that's just a fact of life. And there's no guilt on the American side.
People don't understand North Korea, and they don't understand that. We have this silly idea that wherever we go, we're going to be welcomed, and people are going to throw flowers at our feet, and it's going to be like Paris, 1945,
or like it was in Iraq, right?
Yeah, or like it was in Iraq. North Korea. I've just talked to somebody who left very high up with the CIA, and he said to me, when we're out of options defeat the United States or the West. He believes he can do it. His people hate the West and the United States, so they're all with him, you know. What do we do? First, explain the mentality of somebody who's living behind an iron curtain, like those in North Korea.
And as I may have mentioned before, is an ideology that is implanted in you at a young age sticks with you, and for a long time, even when you're exposed to contrary opinions and thought.
How do you get, you know, he has concentration camps where if you betray him, it's not you that's punished, it's you and 3 generations of your family.
And they deserve it.
And that's what you think.
Yes, that's the thinking. And you know, it's the same, very similar to what happened to Germany, a highly educated nation that went with Hitler because there was rationalization going on. And, you know, yes, you cannot think that once you free them from that dictator that the country is going to change. As a matter of fact, I have a neurologist who was from South Korea, and he told me that we were talking about, you know, the parallels between, you know, the divided countries, and he said if there were a unification now, you know, the people in the North could not function in a free society. They don't know how to.
I don't think you could ever free China. I mean, I don't think, you know, what's self-evident to us that man should be free. I think you go to a rice paddy in China, they wouldn't find that self-evident.
That's right. And we think to some of that in this country, you know.
Yeah.
I just was reminded from way back when I heard the term sheeple.
Yeah.
There's a significant section of the population right now in the United States that behave like sheeple. They want to be told what to do, where to go, where to be fed, where to get their phone, where to get their internet.
This isn't the problem. Christians and non-Christians all have the same evidence. The challenge that we have is that we all interpret the evidence from a different perspective, a worldview. And so that question of, well, which came first, the chicken or the egg, depends on your worldview. For an evolutionist, they will tell you very clearly that the egg came first because lizards lay eggs, and lizards, over time, evolved into the birds. So the egg came first. But from a Christian perspective, we say that the bird came first because God said on day 5 that he created birds, and so birds lay eggs. And so it's a silly little example, but what it is it shows you the power of worldviews and how it's not the evidence, it's our starting point that impacts the way that we interpret and explain evidence. Yeah.
Oh, that's for a guy who didn't remember writing it. You did a great job. You know, you mentioned this the second time you mentioned the Chicago, the Field Museum.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go there. At one time I was at a stoplight in Chicago. We were working on a video project. I looked over and I saw the Chicago Field Museum, and I was that close, but we were on schedule. I've always wanted to go there because have you ever seen the movie The Ghost in the Darkness?
Yeah, the lions are there.
Lions? That movie says those lions are in. This is a movie with Val Kilmer. It's based on a true story. The British, I think, trying to build a bridge to someplace, Savo or something like that, in Africa. And these 2 killer man-eaters. It's a fascinating story, but they say those lions are on display there. So I've always wanted to go and see that.
Now let's take what I was talking about, that worldview impact and interpretation. We can do that exactly with those lion exhibit as well. See, we can do fossils and all this kind of thing. And by the way, if you go to our website, the rforh.com, and you go to the store and see anything that you like there, when you check out, just use the code AFR25 and you get 25% off of everything. But let's take that worldview and apply it to those lions. They say one of them had a broken tooth. And because it had a broken tooth, it started looking for easier prey, which is why they became man-eaters. Now, is that a fact, or is that an interpretation? And that's one of the things that we teach in that first class when we're going through the museum. Learn how to differentiate between facts and opinion. That's an opinion. I mean, because a lion had a broken tooth, they started eating people? Come on. So lions without broken teeth don't eat people? How about
I broke a tooth on a nut once. I didn't start eating people, so...
But it shows you the worldview. I mean, a worldview is going to impact interpretation.
Oh, that's fascinating. By the way, you kind of zip through that. Tell our listeners your website again, and then give them that promotional code once again.
Yeah, the website is rforh.com, R for H, and AFR off of everything on there. We want
What kind of stuff do you have on your store?
Oh man, all kind of DVDs, lots and lots of DVDs, books, books, that type of thing. I'll tell you, one of the greatest things that we have is a brand new devotional called Fast. 26-minute to 20-second, 30-second videos for parents. It's a digital download. As parents, you sit down 6 days a week, look for animals, really unique, fun design features on animals, and then it has a study booklet that goes with it, full color, that you print out. It's, like I said, it's a digital download, so we can keep the cost down right now. And you have 1 month of study, 6 days a week, having a 10 to 15-minute conversation with your child. So those are the kind of tools that are ahead of London, that type of a thing. We want parents to become the heroes to their children. It's so important that parents are, I do a lot of youth groups and take them out and they ask me questions, and I'm like, do you talk to your parents about these things? And most of the time they don't. So I want to put tools in their hands that they become the heroes to their kids.
Folks, let me just reset here. You're listening to today's issues, the American Family Radio Network. Ed Battagliano sitting in for Tim Wildman today. I am joined by Fred Jackson and Ray Pritchard. We are talking with Carl Kirby, who's president and founder of Reasons for Hope. Carl, let me ask you this. We mentioned worldview a time or two, and this is an issue I'm always interested in. Explain to people what worldview means in a way they can understand, and where does it come from? Everybody has one, so where does it come from?
Yeah, it's kind of like armpits. Some of us have more than one, some smell worse than others.
I like it.
I've never heard that before.
You're so stealing that.
It's kind of like if you look at me right now, I've got my glasses on, all right? If I were to take my glasses off, trust me, the way that I see this computer screen sitting in front of me with the really cool colors and text, I can read that text now, but when I pull these glasses off, I can't read it anymore. That is a worldview. It's like a set of glasses. We put on a set of glasses that focus the world in a different way. As a Christian, I allow the Word of God to be my authority and my starting point. God said that He created 6 days, He rested one, and that when He was finished, that it was perfect. There was no death, there was no tear, there were no sorrows. And He says when He comes again, He's going to create as it was in the beginning. We're going to have a perfect place. I have a message of hope because God did what He said that He did in the beginning, and if I can trust that, then I can trust that He's going to do what He said He's going to do in the future. But if I take those glasses off and I go with the worldview that I was raised with 900 hours in the school and 1,064 hours a year watching television, teaching me that there is no God, just given enough time, right circumstances, when I look at the world from that perspective, I totally understand it differently. And so the problem, as I said, is not an evidence problem. Christian and non-Christians have the same rock, same stars, same people. We just see these things so differently because of the glasses, the worldview that we have on it, impacting the way that we interpret things.
Talking about worldview, a big part of that is that we believe as Christians that God has a plan for each of our lives. And each of the elements that come into our lives, sometimes we wonder how God uses those things. One of the things you've done in the past, I mentioned this morning, you were an air traffic controller at O'Hare Airport.
Yes, sir.
I'm just surprised that you had hair anymore at all. How has God used that? It has to be one of the most tension-filled jobs. I just can't imagine it for a moment. How do you feel God has used that in this ministry that you're involved with now?
Well, if you can't tell, I speak quickly. And at O'Hare, you learn how to speak quickly and enunciate. Because if you're going to... And I'm an old Southern boy. I'm a country boy. I graduated high school in Lexington, Virginia. And when I start going back home, dude, you're done. You can't do that at O'Hare. So you have to speak quickly. You have to enunciate so that people...
The plane has landed by the time you get
Yeah. By the time I spit it all out, it's like, what? So, not going to happen. But it also helped prepare me in a way that, the stress thing, I didn't really feel it, to be honest with you. Because I knew that I was there because God put me in that job. I didn't even know what air traffic control was when I got into it. I went into the military because I got a choice. Go to jail or go in the military. All right? Bad background. God's plan. Oh, dude, authority. I've wrecked 3 cars drunk driving. I've been caught multiple times for drugs. I should be dead or in jail. Well, God has taken a very broken...
This is years ago.
Oh, yeah, years ago. Yeah. Praise God that I never want to go back into that. But that's who I was in high school. And so I got caught resisting arrest, assault on a police police officer and that sort of a thing in high school. And so I was standing in front of the judge, and he's like, look, you got an option. Go in the military or face the charges. I went into the military. I went in as a typist because they didn't have any other jobs. I got into basic training, and the drum instructor was asking, or the basic training instructor was asking everybody what their job was. He gets to me, typist. He started laughing. He called me a name that I can't even repeat. He goes, that's not good. And I'm like, man, that's not a good name. He said, well, get used to it. The rest of the time you're in the military, that's what they're going to call you. And I said, as long as you're in that job, I'm like, well, how do I get out of this job? A volunteer. They had 3 jobs. Ordnance disposal specialist. Well, they wouldn't mess with bombs. The second one they wouldn't let me do because I had torn ligaments in my knee playing football in high school, so they said you're automatically disqualified. The third was air traffic control. I'm like, what's that? And the guy said, this is the honest truth. This guy looked at me and said, in the wintertime you're in a heated room, and in the summertime you're in an air-conditioned room. Well, that's how I got into air traffic control. So when I'm at O'Hare, I'm there because God put me there. And you know, after I got saved years later, but then it was like, look, I didn't even know what the job was. So God's not going to put us where we can't do what He wants us to do. And so that took all the pressure off me.
Wow. Hey, Carl, I want to ask you something about the book of Genesis because, again, I'm on your website and just fantastic resource. You know, we hear some people today, Christians, well-meaning Christians, I suppose, who want to say, well, I believe in God, but I don't think we need to take Genesis literally, or they put God and evolution together. Why is it important that we take Genesis seriously, literally, and historically?
Oh, man, Ray, thank you for that question. That's kind of what I alluded to with that, God, I know what you wrote, but let me tell you what you meant. We have a generation that has been taught to take man's wisdom to God's word. It's important because if God didn't do what He said that He did, the way that He said that He did it, then He lied. And if I can't trust Him in Genesis, I'll never trust Him in John. How in the world can I believe in virgin birth, dead people rising, walking on water, and thousands of people getting fed from just a couple of fishes and loaves, if I can't believe that a God created the way that He said that He did? When God said that He created, and at the end of creation it was perfect, He meant it. The wages of sin is death, and I'm going to suggest to people, I'm not going to challenge your salvation, that's not my goal, but I will challenge your interpretation. If you have any mechanism, I don't care what it is, age theory, gap theory, whatever, if you have any theory that allows for death and suffering to be there before Adam sinned, you are attacking the character of God, because God tells us that the reason we see the ugly, crazy things that we see in the world today, it's our fault. It's not His fault. What He wanted is what He gave us. He gave us perfection. And He's going to give it to us again when He comes again and restores the heavens and the earth to what it was like in the beginning. So it's vitally important that we don't attribute to God the craziness that we see. That's our fault. Our sin destroyed us, not God.
Well, we're talking with Carl Kirby, who's president and founder of Reasons for Hope. Carl, give our listeners the website again and the promotional code.
Thank you, Ed. It's the website is rforh.com, rforh.com. And if you see anything in the store, the books, DVDs, that FastFact study, when you check out, just use the code AFR25, and we'll take 25% off of it.
In terms of the evangelical church in America, because you travel around,
yes,
you speak to different groups, churches, youth groups you mentioned. What is your perception of the state of the evangelical church in America? You can relate it to the issue you just addressed, but really I'm asking more broadly. What do you see as you go out to these churches?
Hunger for somebody to look them in the eye and be real. I'm telling you, the number of younger generation meetings that I do where these young folks are just looking you in the eye, they want something straight, they want it real, they want application. We've been teaching memorization for too long, and memorization without application is worthless. And that's why I got very convicted 6 years ago when I left the other ministry that I was with to start this one, is we have to teach the application. And there's a hunger for it. I can give you story after story.
We'll see you there with the Talk 1071, AM 1400.
From the Elmore.com, we'll do some very closely.
Ellen? tonight with a low near 60. Saturday and Sunday, partly sunny with a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms each day, with highs in the lower 80s. Cloudy Saturday night with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, low in the low to mid-60s. For the full 5-day forecast, you can find it at elboart.com. See the whole picture. News Talk and Sports Talk. 1071.
This is the Glenn Beck program.
I cannot wait to finish this conversation with Jack Belsky. By the way, he's going to be on Facebook Live with our former military intelligence guy. That's going to be a wild conversation. And then Jack's going to join me at 5 on the Blaze TV. Check it all out, glennbeck.com, blaze.com.
This is the Glenn Beck program. Mercury.
Catch Rush Limbaugh, Monday through Friday, 10 till 2, right here on Talk 1071, and available at AM 1400. As you know, I'm a strong believer in your right to defend yourself. So much so, I've teamed up with the United States Concealed Carry Association to do something cool and I think incredibly important. The USCCA provides industry-leading firearms education, training, and self-defense insurance. But they're also dedicated to getting more guns into the hands of responsible, freedom-loving Americans who would do anything to protect the ones they love. So here comes the big announcement. The USCCA is going to buy 10 people the gun of their dreams. That's right, you're about to get 10 chances to win $1,500 for any gun that you have dreamt about. Just visit protectanddefend.com and enter. There's absolutely no restrictions. You can pick any gun, any brand, any caliber you want. Enter to win $1,500 for the gun of your dreams. It's quick, it's simple, it's free. Just go to protectanddefend.com right now, enter, and get the official rules. They're truly changing the game for responsible gun owners. Protectanddefend.com. We had to see for ourselves that Upside.com really saves money on business travel and gives you a big gift card every trip. When we went to Upside, not only did we save $300 for a business trip to Phoenix, we got a $145 gift card. Go to Upside.com right now and use promo code BECK and get yourself a $200 Amazon gift card your very first trip. Save big on travel and get a big gift card every trip. Upside.com. That's Upside.com. Minimum purchase applies. See site for details. If you're familiar with cloud computing, you probably know that Amazon Web Services offers a complete set of secure compute, storage, application, and deployment services that help companies launch and scale their IT infrastructures while lowering costs. But did you know that you're still responsible for protecting your own AWS-based assets, meaning your applications and data, from advanced cyber threats? Protect your AWS with Barracuda Network's Advanced Firewall Solutions. Visit AWS Marketplace or barracuda.com/AWS to learn more. Today, you brushed your teeth. You skipped the floss. You combed your hair. You took the train. You did the crossword. You missed 22 lacrosse. You went to work. You had a meeting. You ate your lunch. You had a meeting. You wondered, how is anyone supposed to get any work done around here with so many meetings? You left the office. You took the train. You ate your dinner. You brushed your teeth. You did all the things that one normally does the day before a brutal EF5 tornado rips through town, leaving 30,000 people without power. You never know when the day before. Prepare for tomorrow at ready.gov/today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. KELD AM 1400 and K296FY 1071 FM El Dorado, Arkansas. Talk 1071. A murderer and a liar. United Passengers sues. I'm Michael Toscano. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad says that the chemical weapons attack on civilians that killed 80 people never happened. Assad tells the AFP news agency the U.S. fabricated the story so it could launch a missile strike on a Syrian airbase. A harsh reaction from House Foreign Affairs Committee member Elliot Engel. Not only is he a murderer, he's also a liar. The intelligence tells us nearly 100% accurately that he was behind the gas attack in Chicago.
Will there be a lawsuit? Yeah, probably.
That's Thomas Demetrio, the lawyer for Dr. David Dow, the man dragged from a United Airlines flight last week.
It's us against them. Well, we're them. And this lawsuit, among other things, hopefully, will create a not just national discussion, but international discussion on how we're going to be treated going forward.
Wall Street stocks flat all morning. I'm Michael Toscano. Well, that was fast. The Kremlin said today President Vladimir Putin's meeting with Secretary of State Rex Tillerson hasn't produced any positive shift yet in Russia-U.S. relations. Jorge Soroga reports they're calling a UPS delivery driver a hero in Haverhill, Massachusetts.
Oh my God!
UPS driver Paul Pereira on his last delivery of the day.
He was the head of counterintelligence for the KGB. He now lives in the United States, and he stated that they never killed anybody on the United States territory. So take it for what it is. You know, we will never know.
I believe that. But do you ever watch the TV show? I don't want to get into this, but do you ever watch the TV show The Americans?
I do, because I'm friends with the producers now.
I bet. Right. I was wondering if you consulted or if you thought that was pretty.
No, they should have me as a consultant, because I was on the set and I found a bunch of things that they're very much focused on being authentic.
Oh yeah.
And they're going to great lengths to find the right cars, the right buses, and
it's quite amazing.
And the decorations in their on the set. Well, I found a few things that were wrong.
Yeah.
But it's a very entertaining show. But with regard to intelligence work, they know it's all nonsense.
So this is not a way to get hired. You realize that? So
they know it. They know it. It's entertainment. Let me tell you one thing. What they are doing really well is how they cover the psychology of being undercover. There was a possibility at one point that they would have sent me to the U.S. with a wife. As you may know,
they arranged a wife for you in Germany, right?
No, they didn't arrange it. They allowed me to get married to the one that I fell in love with. They screened her, and she was quote unquote clean. And there was some thought of actually sending her over here with me, but
knowingly,
except she psychologically she was not capable of handling that kind of pressure, so they kept us separate. But anyway, getting back to the Americans, this is the best part of their show, is how those folks deal with
the situation,
being in another country, becoming another person, and God forbid when you have children. And I think one of my favorite episodes is when the kid is bringing the pastor to dinner.
Yeah, yeah. Because you grew up that way. As I read your book and as I know your story, you grew up, and in the Americans, they keep going back to what their life was like back in Russia. And a couple thoughts come up, like, why wouldn't you come here and just see the plenty and go, man, I'm on the wrong side? You grew up in a time in Germany when it was being rebuilt, and the underwear that you wore for a long time was actually parachute. Right?
Yeah, because there wasn't much of anything that could be bought, and so you had to really, you had to scramble. But when you're talking about the Americans and going back to where you came from, ideology as it's fed to you from childhood on is a very, very strong foundation.
Because that's what happened to you, just like in the Americans.
That's exactly
your
right.
Family said Christianity is fairy tale, and
that's right. I mean, not the family, the entire society, the school system, the teachers, the friends, everybody. Christianity wasn't even mentioned. I mean, we had Christmas, and there was no Christ at Christmas. I opened the Bible once, and because I found one, and I read it from Genesis chapter 1. That's not how you should read the Bible as a child, right?
Right.
But the bottom line is. So people ask me that question all the time. So when you came over here and you saw all this wealth, didn't that make you waver? Not at all. As I said, and that applies to any kind of ideology. If you're being fed a certain belief system from childhood on that sticks for it is very difficult to overcome. And as a matter of fact, I have some good friends back in Germany with whom I reconnected. They got screwed over by East Germany, one way or the other, and they're still communists. It's very difficult to shed what you're being fed.
Living here, though, did you eventually gain some, like, sympathy toward America? When did that fall in love with America? When did it happen with you? Why did you decide when you saw that red dot, I'm not leaving?
Well, that was not because of the country, that was because of Chelsea, my daughter, who was 29 years old. She was 18 at the time, and that was for the first time. And I don't want to go back. My book is to actually, if I have to describe it in very few words, it's a love story. It's about love denied, love not being able to love the right way.
Having two families, yes, and being torn apart. You had one in Germany in 1 year.
Right. So, but in this situation, this was the first time that I felt the pull of unconditional love. And I bet you guys know that, that is stronger than anything else.
Yeah.
And so, it sounds like trite. Love conquers all, but this one did.
In the Americans, you see that, what's it called? Control? Not control. What's the center?
Yeah.
The
control.
Yeah. No, that's get smart. The center gets, which was really accurate. Yes. Right. Unlike the Americans.
Right.
Yes, right. The center's totally accurate. The center starts to get concerned because of the kids. They know now that the kids are becoming American, and it's not easy to rip them back to Russia, and they're starting to think and know that could change the agents.
But there's also this other train of...
Thank you for choosing Ivy.
Yeah, I need give me a number 13, sandwich only, please.
Okay, can I get you anything else?
That'll do it.
It's going to be $5.81.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
We better learn how to park and be alright, I guess. How to park out in the street, I guess.
Do you need any sauce?
No. Thank you, man. You too.
my money where my mouth is. Yesterday, I bought more gold because
What company did you buy it from?
surprisingly gold line.
Oh, wow. Okay. I would have been weird if it was somebody else.
But you might want to reevaluate your position and look at the world at large and see what is possibly coming. 866-465-3546, 866-GOLDLINE or goldline.com.
Glenn Beck.
Mercury. News, talk, and sports 24/7. That's why we're called Talk 1071.
Are your medical bills piling up due to cancer or another serious illness? You are not alone. Many people face this challenge. Here's how Coventry Direct can help. You can receive an immediate cash payment by selling your life insurance policy. If you have $100,000 of life insurance, you may be eligible to sell your policy, even a term policy. To find out if you qualify, call Coventry Direct today at 1-800-513-6400 to speak to one of our policy specialists. That's 1-800-513-6400. The cash